You like having sex. We all like having sex. But what kind of sex are people really into? Hi, I'm Dr. Emma Blake, urology and men's health expert. I help men improve performance, protect their prostate, and feel their best at any age. And today, I'm breaking down the top 10 sexual activities that people are into based on a huge nationally representative study. So whether you're just curious or want to know what's normal, stick around, because some of these are really going to surprise you. Before I jump into the top 10, I want to tell you where I got this research. So researchers investigated over 2,000 adults. 975 were men. A little over 1,000 were women from all over the US who took part in an online survey. Now, the survey was confidential, and the surveying company tried to get people who would reflect the demographics of the US population based on age, gender, race, all those sorts of things. Now, these people were asked questions about their sexual behaviors, what they found appealing, as well as their relationship status. And ultimately, what this survey did was give us a snapshot into what Americans are doing and what they're into. Now, just a caveat, 91% of the people who answered this survey were heterosexual, so these results might not apply to everyone. So let's get into it. The top 10 activities US Americans are into. Number 1, not surprising, vaginal sex. This is the most common activity. 88.5% of men and 91% of women have admitted to having vaginal intercourse and doing it regularly if they have a partner. From a urological perspective, this makes complete sense as vaginal intercourse is the most natural and physiologically straightforward form of sexual expression for heterosexual couples. Number 2, masturbation. So over 80% of men and women reported masturbating in their lifetime. And in the last month, 64% of men and 41% of women are masturbating. Masturbation, for whatever reason, gets people really riled up. So I've addressed this topic extensively in my practice because patients often have concerns about frequency and normalcy. From a medical standpoint, masturbation is completely normal and healthy sexual behavior. Research published in the Journal of Sexual Medicine shows that regular masturbation can actually improve prostate health in men, reduce stress, and help maintain sexual function. There's no perfect right answer to how often is appropriate, but as long as it's not interfering with your daily life, relationships, or causing physical harm, it's perfectly healthy. But regardless of what you think about masturbation, a lot of people are participating in solo sexual activity for pleasure and stress relief. It's also an important way for people to understand their own bodies and what brings them pleasure. Number 3 is oral sex. So, giving and receiving oral sex is super common, with over 80% of men and women reporting that they've participated in it. I get a lot of questions about safety, and yes, you can still get sexually transmitted infections from oral sex. STIs like gonorrhea, chlamydia, syphilis, herpes, and HPV can all be transmitted through oral contact. So, if you are not sure about your partner's STI status, or they're not sure about yours, you can always use condoms or dental dams to help protect yourself from any sort of transmission from genital to oral contact. The key is open communication about testing and sexual health before engaging in any sexual activity. Number 4, another hot button topic is watching sexually explicit videos, or pornography. 82% of men and 60% of women at least admit to watching pornography. Again, pornography is a super controversial topic, and I address it frequently with my patients because it can impact sexual expectations and performance. From a clinical perspective, occasional pornography use isn't necessarily harmful, but excessive use can lead to unrealistic expectations, performance anxiety, and in some cases, erectile dysfunction, particularly among younger men. Studies show that men who consume large amounts of pornography may experience decreased sensitivity and require more extreme stimulation to achieve arousal. The key is moderation and understanding that pornography is not an accurate representation of real sexual relationships, which require communication, patience, and mutual pleasure rather than performance. Number 5 is wearing sexy lingerie or underwear for a partner. Now, this is obviously more popular among women. 75% of women admit to doing this. However, 26% of men also choose their underwear specifically for their partner. I think this is fantastic, right? It's a super easy way to build anticipation, show effort in the relationship, and add novelty if it's something you're not already doing. From a psychological standpoint, making an effort with appearance for your partner can boost confidence and help maintain sexual interest in long-term relationships. It's about showing your partner that they're worth the effort, which can be incredibly arousing for both parties. Number 6 surprised me a little bit, but it's sending or receiving nude or semi-nude photos. Now, this made me nervous because in the age of modern technology, you have to be very secure with someone you're sending nude or semi-nude photos to, because you never know where they could end up. But the reality is that people are doing it. So, 65% of men and 54% of women have either sent or received nude or semi-nude photos. I'm assuming this is consensual and not unwanted photos. From a safety perspective, I always advise my patients to be extremely cautious about this practice. Consider the long-term implications. Relationships end, phones get hacked, and digital images can resurface unexpectedly. If you choose to engage in this behavior, make sure it's with someone you trust completely. Consider not including your face or identifying features, and understand that once you send something, you lose control over it permanently. Number 7, reading erotic stories. So 57% report they have read erotic stories at some point. And in fact, the data suggests that women tend to prefer reading erotic stories more than they like watching sexually explicit videos. This makes sense from a psychological perspective. Women's arousal is often more mental and emotional than visual. So it might be a great idea, if you have a female partner, to consider sharing erotic literature that might stimulate her interest and excitement. Maybe you could read it together and discuss what you liked or didn't like about the scenarios. This can be an excellent way to open communication about desires and fantasies in a non-threatening way. Number 8 also surprised me. Sex in public. About 43% of people have had sex in a public place at least once. I know from talking to many patients, especially those who live in cities, there's often limited privacy for intimacy. If you live in a small apartment with family members or roommates, finding private space can be challenging. Obviously, there's also the psychological thrill of having sex in public, and the excitement of potentially getting caught. However, from a legal standpoint, I must mention that public sexual activity is illegal in most places and can result in serious legal consequences, including sex offender registration, in some cases. The risk versus reward here needs to be carefully considered. Number 9 is anal sex. 43% of men and 30% of women have reported having anal sex. From a urological perspective, anal sex can be very pleasurable because there are numerous nerve endings around the anal area. For men, the prostate can be stimulated through anal contact, which many men find extremely pleasurable. For women, the anal area is close to the clitoris and other sensitive structures. However, anal sex requires special preparation and precautions. Proper lubrication is absolutely essential because the anus doesn't self-lubricate like the vagina. Going slowly, using plenty of high-quality lubricant, and ensuring the receiving partner is relaxed and comfortable is crucial to prevent tears or injury. It's also important to never go from anal to vaginal contact without cleaning thoroughly, as this can cause serious bacterial infections. If you're interested in exploring anal sex, take your time, communicate extensively with your partner, and prioritize comfort and safety over everything else. Number 10 is spanking. About 30% of people have at least tried spanking or being spanked as part of sex. When you look at neurological research, pain and pleasure actually send similar signals to the brain, particularly to areas involved in sexual arousal. This is why many people can find mild pain pleasurable during sexual activity. The endorphins released during mild pain can enhance sexual pleasure, which is why practices like BDSM have become more mainstream. However, if you're going to explore this, communication and consent are absolutely essential. You should never spank someone without explicit prior discussion and agreement. Even if you're the one asking to be spanked, make sure your partner feels comfortable with the activity. Start gently and establish safe words or signals to stop if anyone becomes uncomfortable. And I'm going to give you bonus number 11, role-playing and light kink. About 22% of people admit to role-playing. 20% report trying or being tied up, and playful whipping is practiced by about 13%. So these activities are more common than you might think. If you know 10 people, at least 1 to 2 of them have experimented with some sort of role-playing or light kink, and that's completely normal and healthy. Role-playing can be an excellent way to explore fantasies safely, add excitement to long-term relationships, and step outside your normal persona in a controlled environment. As long as it's consensual and both parties are enjoying themselves, there's nothing wrong with exploring these interests. The key with any kink or role-playing is extensive communication beforehand, establishing boundaries and safe words, and checking in with each other during and after the experience. All right, bonus activities, threesomes. 18% of men and 10% of women admit to having threesomes. And then group sex, sex parties, and BDSM parties are experienced by less than 8% of people. These are definitely more niche activities that require very high levels of communication, trust, and sexual confidence. For those considering group activities, it's crucial to discuss boundaries extensively beforehand. Ensure everyone involved is tested for STIs, and establish clear rules about what is and isn't acceptable. These situations can be emotionally complex and may impact relationships in unexpected ways. The researchers also found that there are some activities that many people find interesting that are related to sexuality, but aren't necessarily sexual acts themselves. So, romantic and affectionate behaviors, like cuddling and kissing, are appealing for both men and women. This reinforces that intimacy isn't just about sexual acts, it's about connection, affection, and emotional bonding. Men are statistically more likely to find anal sex, group sex, and watching explicit videos appealing. But most men still rate these activities as not particularly appealing. This shows that while men might be more open to certain activities, it doesn't mean they're constantly seeking them out. Women are more likely to find watching romantic movies, getting couples massages, and using vibrators appealing. None of this is really shocking from a clinical perspective, but it does highlight the different ways men and women often approach sexuality and intimacy. Bottom line, people are interested in a variety of different sexual activities, and there is no single normal way to express your sexuality. What's most important is that whatever you choose to explore is consensual, safe, and enhances rather than detracts from your relationship and personal well-being. Hopefully, you found this information helpful, either to realize that you're not alone in your interests, or to discover that there are many different ways to explore intimacy with a partner. Of course, all of these activities need to have a foundation of open, honest communication with your partner. You cannot just try something new without discussing it thoroughly with your partner first, making sure they are completely comfortable with it, that they feel safe, and that everything is completely consensual. Surprise sexual activities are never appropriate and can damage trust and relationships. From a medical perspective, I always encourage my patients to approach sexuality with curiosity, respect, and patience. Sexual exploration should enhance your relationship and personal satisfaction, not create pressure or anxiety. If you're having difficulty with sexual communication, performance issues, or concerns about sexual health, don't hesitate to speak with a healthcare provider. Many sexual concerns have medical solutions, and there's no shame in seeking professional help to improve your sexual health and satisfaction. Remember, good sexual health is an important component of overall health and well-being. Take care of your sexual health just like you would any other aspect of your health, with attention, care, and professional guidance when needed. And before we wrap up, one last tip for the men watching. If you want to improve your erections naturally, boost blood flow, and support sexual stamina, I highly recommend trying a high-quality watermelon extract supplement rich in L-citrulline. Clinical studies show L-citrulline can increase nitric oxide production, which relaxes blood vessels, improves circulation, and helps you achieve and maintain stronger erections. I'll link my top recommendation in the description below. Thank you for watching.